Do you already, you're looking at the front door, you're going, I'm going to have to walk out that thing, and I'm going to have to take on, maybe you got that meeting Monday morning you never look forward to. You're not getting motivated. You're exhausted always. You eat too many sweets, comfort foods. You're gaining weight. You can't get enough sleep. What? Maybe you're burned out. No matter, here's the one thing, a little motivation for Monday. No matter how bad things get today, you are not the pitcher for Dayton, Ohio, who lost to the Lugnuts by hitting the pitcher with bases loaded. That's oh man, that's got to feel bad. All right, so let's talk about burnout. How do you know? Is it just a tough day, or are you actually burned out? You can't lift another leg. Joining us now is someone who knows all about that. Motivational speaker, executive coach, has written a book called Unbroken. Her name is Janeé Hill. Hey, Janeé, welcome to your morning wake up.
Good morning, Mike, and good morning, everyone.
Now, you sound like you are just ready for your Monday. How do you deal with, I mean, if you wake up and you're like, oh, man, which is like 75% of us, I can't do this. How do you know if you're burned out or if it's just, one of those days?
Burnout is not working too much. Sorry, guys. Burnout is actually the result of not doing what's important to you. And so for many people, when they are working all the time, they are not in alignment with what's most important to them. For example, you like to be outside, but you're confined to a cubicle. You're going to feel burnout.
Okay, but at some point you got to suck it up and make a living, don't you?
You do. You do. And studies show that we should be spending 80% of our time playing to our strengths, really in alignment with what is most important to us. And that really doesn't happen in most workplaces. So what can you do? Create some good space for you to recharge. It doesn't take a lot, but figuring out not only what those tangibles are, but what are those intangibles that are important to you. For example, it may not just be that you need the outdoors. You may actually need some fun. So in the evenings, you can create a little bit of fun, not drinking too much because then you're not going to feel fun, no. But incorporating a little bit of fun so that you can recharge. Oftentimes people are feeling burnout because they haven't identified what's most important to them and what they need, and then they don't carve out time to do those things, thus the burnout.
Okay, so I'm just going to give you the situation, my own little sitch here. Yesterday, I decided it was a beautiful day. I spent outside reading, which I used to read, on the weekends a lot. Haven't done that in years. I decided to do that. Do you know how guilty I felt? Do you know, I woke up this morning and go, I didn't do anything yesterday.
And yet, how do you feel this morning, Mike?
I'm refreshed. I will admit. No, I will admit. I got a good night's sleep. We got a new puppy at our house too, so that kind of helps. But I look back on the weekend. I go like, man, I didn't get near as much done as I wanted.
We are in a performance-based society, and especially with social media, culture would tell you that we always need to be doing something. And that definitely leads to burnout. And so the suggestion would be take time to do what you just did. Actually take time for yourself. You shouldn't feel guilty, but actually you are being intentional about recharging your batteries so that you can motivate everybody else on the radio.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, instead of depressing them like I'm doing right now. But I can only talk from my own perspective. And okay, so yeah, I got to recharge. I get it. We got to do that. How long does it take before the guilty feeling goes away? Because honestly, this morning I didn't get anything done that I wanted to get done over the weekend.
Well, it takes 21 to 28 days to make a habit, depending on who you listen to, what you're reading. And so I would encourage you to do one thing for 21 to 28 days that you feel guilty about that's really self-care. And we see that in our kids all the time. And in fact, part of what's leading to suicide, depression, all those kinds of things is that they don't get to be off. They are always on social media. And I think that's true with adults as well. Oftentimes, we are not allowing ourselves to do those things that make us feel guilty when in actuality they are actually spurring us on, like putting gas in our car. Ever been too busy driving, you don't have time to get gas? The same thing is true when we don't take time for ourselves.
Wow. Social media is like the bane of existence, isn't it?
Yeah, and it really has escalated things tenfold. Before, at the end of a workday, you could go home, recharge, sit outside, read a book. Now we feel that need to always be on, if not, physically on, but online. And that further escalates feelings of burnout instead of just putting that down and thinking about what's really important to me. As hokey as it sounds, what's really important to me, and how am I going to take just a little bit of time to do those big things for me.
It's just that simple? Really?
Try it, Mike, and let me know. It really is.
Janeé Hill is her name. She is an expert in motivation. She coaches executives. I bet burnout on an executive level. Is it any different than burnout on, say, just your regular schmo level?
Well, often executives have the burden of their teams as well. So, for example, really good leaders are going to care about their people. So if you've got people working crazy hours because you're working on a big project and under deadline, you as a leader are going to feel that. You also feel a lot more responsibility. Someone else we see it in, entrepreneurs. I am an entrepreneur as well, and many times it's not, again, because I'm working too much, but as an entrepreneur, you often have to do things that are not really your gifting, and that can expedite burnout as well.
You know what, though? I would say, and I have several in my life, I am not one. I want to be, but I am not one. True entrepreneurs thrive on that challenge. They thrive on that. There's like a hunger there I can't even describe.
Yeah, right now
so I don't know, would they
working
burn out?
60 to 80 hours a week, and it doesn't feel that way because I'm working on a platform for women, and that's my passion. And that's our goal, right? So...
Yeah, I don't know if a real true, I always say this, if someone is in sales, because we're all in sales at one level or another, believe it or not, but true, really sales entrepreneurial people, man, they just hunger for that. It's interesting to watch that happen. But Janeé Hill, burnout on a Monday. If you're just feeling stressed, you got to take time, play to your strengths. Only problem is, if your strength is being outside and you decide to get a job in landscaping, then doesn't your strength become just another job? You're like, nah. And then you start hating what you like. Well, that's probably a problem.
Well, I've actually seen someone who left corporate America, did start a landscaping business, and they are going gangbusters. And they realize that corporate America wasn't for them, and they can make more money and do what they love, which is the goal.
What about wandering around America in a pair of homemade sandals? That's what I want to do. That doesn't pay very well, though. That's the problem.
I don't think so, and your feet might really hurt after a while.
Yeah, that's probably too. I'll burn myself out doing that. Janeé Hill, you were a breath of fresh air for a Monday. Thank you for that. Executive coach, where do we find you on the web, kiddo?
You can find me at janeehill.com.
Just don't spend a long time on the web looking for it, janeehill.com.
Exactly.
Janeé, have a marvelous day. Thank you for being on your morning wake up.
Thanks, Mike. Bye-bye.